What's up to my -5 viewers? Just making a Cyberpunk review for no reason, because I'm not going to get any views, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so I just thought, since the game's basically just came out, and I beat it, all endings surprisingly, I just didn't really fuck with all the side missions, you know. Found a lot of the characters just boring, so I just blasted through the main story, and I gotta say, it wasn't the best writing wise, but it was entertaining for the most part. It was pretty good. There were a lot of main characters that were good, but the side characters weren't really anything to care about. Ain't really anything to, you know, just get invested with. They were mostly boring, you know. I'm going to go into more depth on the characters later. I just wanted to clarify what I meant between main and side and how they differentiate. So obviously in every game you got main and side characters, but in Cyberpunk what I mean is not the characters coming from side missions to the main story. Even though you do get some of those, they don't really count as main ones. But what I mean for the main characters are the ones from the main story that can give you their own side stories. They can have their own side storyline, but those ones you can actually get invested in. You can actually care about. They're not just bland. They're not just like cardboard boxes, you know. They're not just one-dimensional characters. They actually have something to them. Whereas the side characters, they will just give you a random call alerting you of a new character, that they have a job for you, and that there's some stuff for you to do after you complete a main mission or a main character's side story. But they don't really have anything to themselves. They're just a little one-dimensional character that gives you 3 or 4 missions and disappears for the rest of the game. But can we just hold on? Can we just pause there and talk about how this guy literally like just dropped me in one shot? Watch. That's some bullshit. I wasn't expecting it. I know he had a red skull and shit, but what the fuck was that? That's why I was cheesing it later, man. But anyway, now I'm on the topic. I might as well just go to the red skulls. How to differentiate the enemy types and the levels is, if you see a red skull over the character's head, you're probably not going to be able to kill them, and if you do kill them, it's going to take you basically all your ammo. So if you see a red skull, run away, level up, get some better weapons, then come back. But enemies that are on your level just have a black box with the ammo type of the weapon they're using and a yellow outline on that box, which lets you know they're not above you, they're on your level. Okay, so the weapon and armor system is something I wanted to touch on. As you can see, it's got the rarities. It goes orange at the top, grey at the bottom. In between, you got purple, blue, and green. I thought pretty standard, you know, like Destiny, for example, and basically every other RPG. But I did want to talk about the attachments and the mods. The mods I found unnecessary, unless they came on the armor piece. I did not use them at all throughout my playthrough. But the scopes and the muzzles, or the suppressors, I thought executed pretty well and gave useful bonuses. The scopes obviously did normal scope stuff, took away aim down sight time, which makes you able to aim down sight and shoot faster, and they added extra range because obviously it's a scope, which I found useful on certain ARs in certain missions and certain levels. But the mods, as I said, not very useful. They just did not give the right kind of buffs I was looking for, so I didn't really use them throughout my playthrough. But the suppressor I think had a little unique touch to it. It takes, my one took 25% of my overall weapon damage. So whereas my weapon did 230, it would do like 210 when I put on the thing. But it gave a special multiplier to my sneak damage. So if I was undetected by enemies, without the suppressor I would usually do like 150, but with it I would do like 375 because of the multiplier on the suppressor, which I thought was pretty cool, because when they're taking away your damage, they're giving you sneak damage. It's like giving you an extra playstyle, which I thought was pretty helpful if I wanted to do a mission the other way. Okay, as you can see, the screen went blue because I popped a stim shot, which is actually what I wanted to talk about, because it links to the overall upgrade menu. Now the upgrade menu I thought was executed pretty well, pretty cool concept overall. It came with 5 different traits: reflexes, body, technical ability, and intelligence. No, and cool. And as you can see, top left, I'm level 22. Now each level as you progress gives you 1 point, but if you're playing throughout the game with certain weapons, like as you can see I'm using a sniper with a suppressor, and when I get kills with that, it would boost my stealth level, which comes in on cool. It's stealth and tactical, I think. Now each upgrade gives you specific bonuses, like for example body. Every point you put into it gives you 5, I think it's 5 health points, and boosts your stamina as well, while technical ability just helps you craft and helps your engineering. What I wanted to talk about next was the differentiation in mission types, which I thought was decent, but for the main storyline there was a lot of go point A, point B, collect this from point A, deliver it to point B, then go point C to speak to this person. It was a lot of, you know, running back and forth. Just go shoot him, go shoot her, go capture him, go capture her. Not a lot of narrative to it, which I thought was kind of weird, because obviously it's the main story. There's bound to be an overarching story to it, but there wasn't much character development in it. It was mainly just side missions where we got it. Like this one with Judy Alvarez in our hometown. We meet her at the start of the game through another character, Evelyn. She's not important, but yeah, we meet Judy Alvarez at the start of the game, and this is her last side story mission, where she takes us diving to her hometown, which is obviously flooded in 2077 because some rich people just wanted to make a dam. I don't know. Yep, just flooded town. But anyway, throughout this mission we get little dialogue pieces, and it gives you optional little objectives to go and talk to Judy, get clues from her hometown, and get a little bit more backstory into her life, which was a little bit, it was kind of cool. I thought it helped with like the character development, shit like that. But we didn't get much of that in the main storyline. It was just do this, do that, shoot him, shoot her, you know, that sort of stuff. And which is kind of disappointing that we had to go do all these side missions just for a little bit of development, you know what I mean? I found it kind of lackluster when you were looking for actual like deeper meaning in the characters' lives. But at least we got that in some of the side missions like this one. I had to cut there because I didn't want to spoil part of the story. But yeah, as I was saying, this side mission and others like it, like ones with Pan Am and other characters like Mitch and stuff like that, they give you more development, more insight into the characters' lives and outlooks, rather than the main story just do this, do that, a little bit of talk here, a little bit of talk there, go there, do that, kill him, kill her, capture her. As you can see, optional objective there, what I was talking about earlier. Search for clues, then you talk to Judy and you get a little bit of backstory into her life. Okay, now it's time to review the main part of the game, what everyone bought it for, what all of my -5 viewers came to this review for. The tech. You thought I was going to say relationship. Go outside, speak to actual people. Anyway, as you can see, we got the jack-in feature there. I thought it sounded weird when I first read it, but that's just me and my dirty mind. But yeah, that's what you do. You connect your personal link to any technical devices when you want to use them. But let's talk about this glitch real quick. So as you can see, no cars appear, have to restart from the last checkpoint. Now it's a minor glitch here, but there are a lot like that in this game. And if you're worried about those minor glitches ruining your immersion from Cyberpunk, I say wait a couple weeks to a month at least, so CD Projekt Red can get some more patches out and fix the overall bugs that like will ruin the game for you. They just released one today. It was a quality of life update overall. It was 1.04, fixed about 10 story glitches and some side story glitches as well. Nothing major gameplay wise, just more visual glitches than actual like gun ones, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get to those in the coming weeks, obviously, because they don't want their sales to fall, which has happened. The stock has fallen 29% for CD Projekt Red, but if they improve it, put the patches out, it's going to go back up. Anyway, moving on, back to the tech. So as you can see, the tech and the vehicles in Cyberpunk are pretty fun to use. I especially enjoyed using this tank in the final mission. It had rockets on it and you could just blow stuff out of the sky. It was sick. But they did a pretty good job with the weapons in this game, as I talked about earlier with the actual handheld weapons. But they did a pretty good job with the turrets as well. You got this little target practice thing. But that almost wraps up the review. Now I just want to talk about the characters and the overarching story, especially the side missions included. Okay, so final thing before I give my overall review on the game, so like out of 10 if I would play it again and if it was worth the £15, I just want to talk about a couple of side missions and a couple of characters in general. So as you can see, you got a side mission with Johnny Silverhand here, and this was a more narrative, more character driven side mission. There was action at the start and in the middle, but it was a more dialogue driven mission, which I actually liked because we got a more like understanding to Johnny's character, and he got to develop a little bit instead of just screaming at you and telling you not to trust the like anyone in the main storyline as he does. You will see that if you play or if you've watched a playthrough, but here we actually got to see a different side to Johnny's character in it, and I think Keanu Reeves did a decent, like a really good job with the voice acting in this scene. So in this game, I just want to talk about a couple more characters before I give my review, but I don't have any spoiler free footage of those, so I'm just going to stick to this Keanu one. So I just wanted to talk about Judy, Alvarez, Panam and the Nomads, and I think that's it. So Judy, obviously we talked about her earlier, her hometown flooded. We got a little bit of that backstory in her side missions, which I thought were pretty decent. They were pretty fun. The first couple were based more on action and gunfights, then there was some character development, then more action and gunfights, then a lot of character development in the last one, obviously, as you saw. But we didn't really get much of that in the main story. It was just her helping us, and then a little bit of development, and then we just go shoot people again. Just wasn't much. It was a recurring theme, just wasn't much development in the main story, which is quite upsetting, because I didn't want to have to keep putting it on the back burner to go do all these side missions, and one of them might be boring, but one of them might be fun, just to get some more like development on the character, you know what I mean? But anyway, onto Panam and the Nomads. Not like first, let me just talk about this whole relationship thing. So if you play as a female, you can get a relationship with Judy and you can have more development on that character. But if you play as a male, you can start a relationship with Panam and have development on that character. You can't do both, obviously. So I was a male because I didn't know about this whole relationship thing till I started the game. So obviously I couldn't get more development with Judy, and I didn't get development with Panam because I'm not an incel who's going to do the sex scenes. But you know what I mean, I didn't do that. But yeah, I still got some development from her side missions. I still got some insight into her character and her clan, the Nomads, which were called the Autocados, and the three main characters from that, or four, were Saul, Mitch, Scorpion, and Panam, obviously. Mitch and Scorpion were the first two you meet after Panam. Scorpion dies, he's not really important, so that's not a spoiler. Mitch is a very important character. He's a mechanic, he's the clan's mechanic, and you have a couple side missions with him. Saul is the head of the clan with Panam. You find that out later, obviously, because she gets promoted. But there's a couple missions where you have to rescue Saul and you have to help him out with Panam and shit like that. But they're a very interesting clan. You didn't really get that with Judy, because her storyline was just kind of, she would help the strippers in a club because they weren't being treated right, but it wasn't really interesting. Just her story instead of the other character's story was interesting, but not the characters she was lumped in with. Anyway, just wanted to touch on that real quick. Just wanted to touch on those couple characters and talk about that. But my overall thoughts on the game, fun game, good gunplay, driving, meh, character development, good inside missions, main missions, meh, a lot of go point A, point B, shoot her, shoot him, capture her, you know, stuff like that, repetitive nature. So overall, that is my review of Cyberpunk. Would I play it again? Definitely. Worth the £50. No, wait till they clear out the bugs. On sale, get it. Out of 10, 7. And to my -5 viewers, if there is actually anyone there, 10 what you thought in the comments, if you watched the review, if you played it, and I'll see you in 10 years.